Hello and welcome to RTT Motorcycles video 1 on how to apply sealer on a motorcycle petrol tank. So here we've got a Suzuki GS500E fuel tank which is badly corroded. I've just shoved the torch in. Hopefully the camera will pick up all the pinhole that's on the bottom of the tank. So what we're going to do, what we need to do first of all is to seal all these holes, all these pinholes up with tape to stop the sealer from leaching out when we've actually applied it on the inside or applied the first coat. So what we do is just get some tape, some sticky tape, some parcel tape, some masking tape, any tape will do, just to seal off the pinholes, all of them that we can see. This is just a packing tape. We use this because we get it from the warehouse. We pinch it, we catch it, we steal it. So we use as much as we can, or much as we want. So basically we need to block them all with tape. Stop this leakage. The bottom of that pipe there, because that's the drain tube for around the filler neck, for when the water gets into the filler neck of the tank when it's right way around. Any water that collects on the filler neck fitting comes down the pipe, so this actually isn't inside the tank, it's on the outside. So we need to remove the petrol tap or any pumps or any level gauges, anything, and then tape all the holes up using the same tape. There we go. We've already de-rusted this tank. We de-rusted it yesterday using Wagner rust converter, which we'll show you in another video. This video just basically telling you the basics on the sealing method. As you see, I've taped around the filler neck, which is good practice, and it just stops any damage caused by the sealer from dripping or leaking onto the paintwork. If it does leak onto the paintwork, you can remove it easily with putting some brake cleaner. If it's wet, or if it's still wet, or while it's still wet, bit of brake cleaner on a kitchen cloth and it will remove very easily. Once it's gone off, once it's gone hard, then you will not remove it. So you've got to do it, get it off while it's still wet. So once you've done that, make sure there's no residue on the tank. Is make yourself a funnel, a bit of carbon funnel, put into your filler neck, pour in about 25% of your tin into the tank. Be careful not to spill it on the outside of the tank, like I've just said. And what I normally do is just get a bit of kitchen cloth and just bob it into filler neck hole. If you've got the original filler cap blade, you can put a piece of polythene over the top, refit the filler cap, lock it, and it will actually seal that. You need to seal it because you need to turn the tank upside down to coat the top side of the inside of the tank, as to speak. So then you need to orientate the tank. And I know we do it. Sit it on one side, 5 or 10 minutes. Sit it on the other side, 5 or 10 minutes. Sit it on its front, 5 or 10 minutes. Sit it on its back, 5 or 10 minutes. Then what you're doing, you're actually distributing the resin on the inside of the tank and you're trying to get an equal coat, it don't really matter if it's not equal, because you're going to do 4 or 5 coats over 4 or 5 different days. You need to leave at least 12 to 24 hours between each coat, so you need to build it up into layers. You can't put one thick coat on at one time. You've got to build it up in thin coats. Usually 4 will do, but I normally do 5 belts and braces. So just keep orientating the tank, one end and the other, on one side and the other side. You need to do this for about 20 minutes. It will spread quite easily because it's like the same thickness or thinness as water, so it is quite fluid, and it will spread easily. As I say, you've just got to try and get an even coat on the complete inside of the tank. The resin that we use is a Wagner or a Wagner, and it's a 1K or a one-piece resin, and it doesn't use a hardener to make it cure. How it hardens is by the absorption of moisture in the air, or exposure to air makes it activate. It usually goes off or hardens in about 12 to 24 hours, depending on what the ambient temperature is. If it's quite cold, it takes a lot longer to go off. Sometimes it can take up to 2 days to actually go tacky. Once it's tacky, you can apply your second coat, but normally overnight will suffice. If you've got quite a large filler cap, you can usually remove your bung and get your torch and just have a look inside, and you can usually see on how the coating is going off. You can usually see if it's all covered the inside of the tank, because it gives it like a nice sheen. Then if you're not very tall, then obviously put your bung back in and keep on checking. Once you're happy that you've actually coated all the inside of the tank, then you need to stand the tank in its normal position, and you need to put it to drain. So what we need to do in this instance is to remove the petrol tap outlet, because we're going to drain the excess resin out of the fuel tap hole. And what I normally use is an old bowl. So basically it's just put the tank on your bowl, make sure that the petrol tap hole is the lowest point, because any resin is going to collect and run out of there. You don't want no thickness. If it's thick, the resin, it tends to take longer to go off. You just need this nice even coat, and it's handy just to get a block ready, so your block can support your tank. When you're allowing it to cure, remove the bung that's in the filler cap, because it needs to circulate the air. It needs exposure to air to allow it to cure. Let it stand 12 to 24 hours, then you're ready for your second coat. for your second coat, yeah, bung your petrol tap hole up, put your second coat of resin in, or put about another 25% of your tin of resin to the tank. Do it all over again, agitate it from one end to the other. Once you're happy with second coat, put it to drain, lay it down till 24 hours. Day 3, do it all over again, and that's it. Once you're happy with 3 or 4 coats, then leave it to stand at least 10 to 14 days for it to completely cure, and then you're ready to go. If you find that it's blocked, the holes in the petrol tap mounting screws, then you can just run the tap down and it will clear the threads, as long as it's not fully cured. That's it. That's your tank sealed, ready for action. Thank you.